Hello there, everyone. My name is Jared Haas with Best Seat the Track here today and this weekend. It is Bristol. You can't go wrong with a night race at Bristol, one of the most iconic races. And joining me from Bristol is the author of Front Stretch 5. We got Jesse Johnston. Jesse, how's everything in Bristol? How is the culture of Bristol? I've been to Bristol and it's great.
Absolutely, Jared. And first off, thanks for having me on the Best Feet at the Track show. You and I were both at the All-Star race last year, and that was a fun night. And considering how everything went last night, I feel like it's going to be just as crazy and chaotic of a weekend here at Bristol. The ARCA race, it was super fun. The truck race, that was fun as well, with another awesome finish in that one. So I'm looking forward to these next two nights of racing action here.
I mean, Bristol, you can't go wrong with that. It is a cut-off race for the round of 12. We already saw the action with the Truck Series, with that drama unfolding with Todd Gilliland and Austin Hill not making the playoffs. But the biggest story that's probably going to go into this weekend is Hendrick Motorsports. They have two drivers in the cutoff, under the cutoff line. If you would have asked me in May, I would have said that all Hendrick or four Hendrick cars would likely be making the round of 8. Now there's two that's not even going to make it out of the round of 16. What do you think is going on with the number 24 team and the 48 team?
That's a great question. I remember last year when William Byron was in this exact position a year ago. And he failed to make it out of here to the round of 12 as well with that night, and he's in the same boat again this year. And also his teammate Alex Bowman, and unfortunately for Bowman, Bristol really isn't one of his best tracks. I think he only has maybe 2 or 3 top 10 finishes here total. So that's a bizarre situation, absolutely. Of course, with Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, they've been studs all season. So the number 24 and the 48 teams, they're going to have to find out-of-the-box strategy to keep on pace with Elliott and Larson in order to have a greater glimmer of hope in advancing.
I do agree that they need to step up their performance too, especially William Byron. I'll give you an interesting note too. At this race last year at Bristol, Kurt Busch and Alex Bowman scored the same amount of points. And they're already tied coming into Bristol 2 between the cutoff line. So, Jesse, one of the things I want to note is at the ARCA race, this happened on Thursday evening, had a big field of cars, 31 cars. And we've seen car count obviously been capped with with what's been going on with the pandemic. How do you think NASCAR is going to improve their car count in all the series, starting from bottom up?
Yeah, that's something to ponder for sure. And I'm proud of ARCA having the amount of entries that they did have last night. I think that's the biggest entry list on a short track for that series in quite some time. And as far as the truck, Xfinity, and the Cup, the truck series, they had close to 40 trucks in that one. So I think the truck series has no issue. Same thing with Xfinity and all that. But I believe with the way the qualifying procedure is, I believe that like for tracks that qualifying and practice aren't scheduled, like they just go to the track and then they take the green flag race, I believe that they ought to increase the amount of participants like in those races as well. Like put Xfinity back up to 40 regardless, and then put Cup back up to 40 regardless as well, because for the teams that show up and they don't make the cut, like this will give them more of a break and more grace for sure. And that'll definitely, I believe that they'll make them feel more welcome if NASCAR, it extends the field like that.
Jesse, that is a pretty interesting argument on that front, where we need to improve from bottom up, getting fields on that. Like I said, field counts, we've been running short on Cup races for entries for over a year. It's just the Daytona 500 that's been getting those extra entries. But, Jesse, I want to play our favorite segment, Bump or Stump. You know, the bump and run is pretty famous in Bristol, too. And my question centers around the most iconic Bristol race, the Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt rattle his cage on that, too. You know, that was a pretty important storyline. But my question is to you, who finished second in the 1999 Goody's Headache Powder 500?
Oh, well, that's one electric finish that you did bring up, but it was not Terry Labonte, that's for sure. It was coming out of turn to Earnhardt, Terry Labonte. He collected, I think, Ricky Rudd, Mark Martin, Tony Stewart. But Jimmy Spencer in the number 23 Travis Carter car, he ended up finishing second to Earnhardt. And I think after they crossed the line, they got into like a little, paint trading after the line. But definitely, a memorable night to recall here from Bristol.
Yeah, I mean, you bumped it out of the way again. It is Jimmy Spencer who finished second to avoid the spinning Terry Labonte on the final lap. So like I said, after a cold streak, our at the track people have been bumping these questions out of the way. So good job, Jesse. My last point is we have to do our picks to win the race, too. And I will start with you, Jesse. Who are you looking out to win for the Cup race here?
All right. Well, the drivers that I'm going to keep my eye on most, it's got to be the four Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota drivers. Obviously, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, they have strong records here. Martin Truex Jr., he won last weekend out at Richmond. He's safe into the round of 12, but of course he can go for another win for Bristol. And for Christopher Bell, he has an Xfinity win for Bristol here in 2019. But although the guy I'm going to pick to win is right outside down the cut line, numero uno, Kurt Busch. He's got 6 wins here. I think his top was probably maybe might have one more. I don't quite remember, but I mean, Kurt, he may start just outside top 10, but considering how strong he is here at Bristol, I think Kurt Busch may have a few special tricks up his sleeve. So he's got my money.
I mean, Kurt Busch has some. He's had some historic success here too. He won, I believe it was his first race in 2002 in the spring race when he moved the aforementioned Jimmy Spencer. I think you can't go wrong with the Joe Gibbs racing car. I think Truex will win, but don't be surprised if Penske gets one or two of their cars. I'm looking at Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano. Penske has had success at these types of tracks too. I mean, Keselowski won the spring race in 2020 was when he was right there contending for the win until the leaders took each other out. But I think overall this is a Joe Gibbs racing type of weekend again, and I think Truex is going to perform well. I think Hamlin's going to be performing well too. You might throw Kyle Larson in there in the top 10, but it's going to be really tough to defeat the Fords and Toyotas here at Bristol. So Jesse, thank you very much for being on the show. And from everyone here at frontstretch.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to frontstretch.com for more great content, and have a great race weekend.